Congratulations! You've made it to the final stretch of the engagement process, and it's now time to start preparing for both your final CYC and client presentations. This is the moment you and your team have been working super hard for this entire semester, and I can promise you that there is no better way to finish off the engagement process than wowing your client, impressing your peers, and ending off the semester on a high note. Given our organization's high standard for excellence and the work you will be expected to deliver in the future wherever your career takes you, we wanted to take an opportunity to review the importance of organizing, designing, and delivering your final presentations, as well as some tips and techniques you can use to create sophisticated, high-quality deliverables. Unfortunately, one huge mistake that many project leaders make is that they only focus their attention on the content of their deliverables and rush the final step of putting it all together. This results in a presentation that, at best, is just boring and uninspiring to listen to. However, when it comes to business projects, the consequences of a weakly executed presentation can be a disaster far beyond what you would face in a lower stakes environment like consultant community. After all, regardless of how strong your content may be, if the final deliverable fails to draw anyone's interest or impress the right people, it may cause the entire thing to be ineffectual and all of your hard work to go to waste. Wouldn't that be awful? Think about it. Let's say you're applying for a job, and although you are highly qualified for the role, you submit a cover letter riddled with grammatical and spelling mistakes. No matter how strong your resume is or how talented of a candidate you actually are, the recruiter probably isn't going to care to look past this initial part of your application and see your true value. As you can see, this cover letter did not serve as a worthy representation of your many skills and attributes, and you're now forced to get back to your job search after missing out on an incredible opportunity. Similarly, a bad first impression can send the wrong message about you and your work and ultimately cause you to fail to reach your project's goals. Plus, even if you did something as remarkable as making a Nobel Prize-worthy discovery, if you cannot explain your findings to the rest of the world, persuade others to invest in your ideas, or provide you with the resources you need to continue your research, or convince anyone of the importance of your work, then it might as well have never existed. Talk about missed opportunities, am I right? Considering this, it's clear to see that design isn't just about making pretty little slides and spreadsheets that look nice and neat. Instead, the way you organize, visualize, and deliver your presentation are equally as important to the success of your overall project as the research and analysis it contains. You see, there are three main reasons why presentation matters. First, it can set you up for success by helping you make a great first impression. As we've already discussed, first impressions are everything. After all, everybody knows that in the business world, greatness begins with a sharp suit, firm handshake, and a friendly introduction. Greet your audience with something equally as appealing by using bold, clean visuals that allow them to know that you really mean business. For example, on the internet, a visually appealing landing page invites your viewer to keep exploring more. Take a look at this website. Wouldn't you like to learn more about this interior designer and the ways that she can help your home look this amazing as well? Pictures speak 1,000 words, and seeing is believing, so be sure that you are always aware of the impression that your work may have on others. In addition, your work's design, or lack thereof, speaks volumes about its credibility, as well as your company's reputation and brand. Like the job application example I mentioned earlier, people typically make assumptions about the trustworthiness, quality, or attractiveness of something based on its appearance. Here's another website. Even while this information and offer that you see here might be completely legitimate, it's hard to trust the source when there are so many red flags. Finally, successful multimodal communication can certainly help your cause and aid you in achieving your project's goals. You see, there are numerous types of communication, which can be combined together in clever and powerful ways to form an impactful message that grabs people's attention and resonates with your audience. Ever notice how adding suspenseful music to a particular scene in a horror film makes it 20 times scarier? Movie directors certainly do a great job, but no one does this better than the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, whose commercials wouldn't nearly be as effective if it weren't for those heart-wrenching visuals. Indeed, all successful businesses know that everything from looks to performance influences people's perceptions, both of its company and its brand. That's why they continue to invest millions of dollars every year into making their logos, signs, packaging, advertising, and all of their other materials, both internally and externally, look impeccable. Thankfully, here at CYC, you'll only really need to design and present a final deliverable. However, everything you do with your graphic design, presentational speaking, data visualization, and so on should all be geared towards one thing. Well, technically two: identifying the points you need to communicate and doing it in the best way possible. Of course, the way that you go about this will change depending on your audience, the data you have, and other factors. Regardless, effective communication will be a skill that you will need for just about every other aspect of life. So I encourage you to use this final presentation as an opportunity to explore different ideas, learn new things, and develop this vital skill. And of course, have fun while you're at it. To demonstrate this concept for you, let's start with just a basic example and one tiny sliver of information about food insecurity in the United States. According to Feeding America, 1 in 7 people in the United States face hunger every year. The rates of hunger in children are even higher, with about 1 in 5 lacking proper access to food at some point during the year. Now, let's say you're looking to raise awareness about the issues of hunger in America. Before you start doing anything with the numbers and information we have here, you first need to consider the following. 1, what is the information telling me? 2, what conclusions can I draw from this information? 3, how should my audience feel about this information? 4, is this information relevant to my case? Is it important? Why? And 5, what is the best way for me to present this information to my audience and achieve my desired goal? Now, let's take a minute to pay close attention to questions 3 and 4 listed here. These are especially important because they connect to the why of your presentation and the work you are doing as a whole. Are you trying to persuade someone to respond in a certain way, like join your team, invest in your company, or in this case, support a specific cause? Always keep your purpose at the center of everything you do as you are preparing your presentation. Now that we have some great questions here to help us get started, let's see what we can come up with. As you're about to see, this framework can be incredibly useful in covering a lot of great analysis on our information and achieving a desired effect on our audience. Now, especially for a hell of a group of engineers, the first 2 questions might seem a little bit obvious to you. As you can see, we know that 1 out of 7, or about roughly 14% of Americans, face hunger every year, and that this issue is clearly worse for children since they are impacted at even higher rates of around 20%. In terms of conclusions we can draw from this information, knowing that hunger and lacking proper access to food are very serious issues whose consequences can be quite severe, it is reasonable to argue that this issue is quite significant and immediate action is needed to be taken in order to help those in need. Now, this next question is a bit more complex, since most people have probably not thought much about the issue of hunger since they don't experience it themselves. And they then, of course, might find it shocking to know just how widespread it is. And the enormity of this issue might also inspire a sense of urgency towards addressing this issue, as well as compassion for those experiencing it. Finally, understanding the goals of our work, we know that this information is very relevant to our mission, not only because it is very informative, but it also highlights the severity of the issue at hand, which we hope is going to raise awareness and spark action. Now that we've thought everything through, we're finally ready to tackle our final question. What is the best way for us to present this information to our audience and achieve our desired goal? Well, you might be thinking, who even is our audience? And if so, you're one step ahead of me. So let me catch you up to speed. Let's just say that we're hoping to design a flyer for an event that we're going to be presenting at and would like to share one of these 2 statistics to raise awareness of this issue, encourage people to come to our event, and participate in the work that we do to help this cause. We decide to feature the fact about children because they are particularly vulnerable to this issue and, generally, people seem especially passionate about helping them. Since we're choosing to make a graphic here, this question becomes, how can we visualize this data in the most compelling way possible? And how can we communicate this fact in an impactful way? Now, let's start here with a basic pie chart. What do you think? Should we use it for a flyer? Take a second to think about this. Alrighty, so if any of you are thinking like I am, this is probably not our best option. Sure, it displays the correct information, but anyone viewing it will need to take some time to interpret it, so it's probably not the most straightforward option. Plus, it's not the most visually appealing for a flyer. So let's try something different, and a different way of representing this data. Here, the short statement makes your message clear and concise. The graphic makes the information appear much more interesting to the reader, and the larger text and color choices connect the text to the graphic and highlight their key parts. But now, let's think back to our audience here. Like what we previously noted, it's hard for people to sympathize with something that they've never really experienced before in their own lives. So, how can we bridge this gap between our viewers and the issue affecting the lives of those who are currently in need? Can you think of anything? Well, as you can see in our third graphic, we can get creative and use an image of real children to humanize this issue and really bring the data to life for our viewers. So, while the issue of hunger may have never crossed their minds up to this point, this image has now given them plenty to think about. The child and his sad expression are something that everyone can relate to, allowing our audience to wonder about how the child might feel about the issue or how it is affecting them, what it might be like if this were their child or if it was a child they knew, and even ways that they can do something to help. Now, this makes this new graphic evoke a powerful response from our viewer, and it will hopefully drive more traffic to our event. Bravo! Now, let's explore some other design tactics that specifically apply to presentational design. To start, here's a quick tip. When it comes to designing your slides, think about how the graphics, layout, animations, and transitions you choose can highlight specific details, facilitate smooth transitions between points, and generate interest and/or engage your audience. First off, did you notice how easy it was for you to identify the main details of this written statement and follow along with my talking points thanks to the help of the colors, size, and position of the text, as well as some well-timed animations? Some of these features do take a bit of time and rehearsal to build into your slides and can overwhelm your viewer if you include too many. So be sure to be very intentional about how you choose to display your information. In addition, remember to practice good audience awareness so that you can keep your presentations as focused, concise, and interesting as possible. Now, to show you what this looks like in practice, I wanted to include an example from a past presentation I once delivered about sales. Please note that these were two slides near the beginning of this presentation, where my team and I wanted to introduce our company to our audience. So, who is Salesforce? In short, Salesforce is a SaaS company offering a variety of customer relationship management technology through its customizable Customer 360 platform, which companies can access through the internet by paying a subscription fee. This platform offers a suite of powerful apps that serve businesses both big and small in a number of key ways. First, it offers marketing solutions that help companies transform their customer experience through data-driven insights. Their customer service software allows companies to offer personalized service through a variety of channels that will exceed their customers' expectations, while their sales and commerce capabilities allow businesses to get to know their customers' needs and find better ways to address them through its advanced AI systems. Online activity can be tracked and analyzed in its streamlined platform to optimize every aspect of the customer life cycle. And as for business's internal team, its lightning-fast app builder empowers its employees to do more so its customers get more. These innovative state-of-the-art solutions have allowed Salesforce, which was founded in 1999 by Mark Benioff, to rise to the top as the world's #1 CRM provider. It is currently dominating the market, having captured almost a fifth of the market share. And with revenues of up to $17.1 billion as of the year 2020, this is likely not going to change anytime soon. Indeed, this Silicon Valley giant has over 50,000 employees spread over 160 countries around the world, and it has served over 150,000 clients to date. Even with all of its success, the one thing that it's most proud of is the community it has created within the company. You see, life at Salesforce is centered around strong company values, including trust, growth, innovation, and equality. Moreover, its collaborative working environment, progressive policies, and innovative culture have made Salesforce one of the best companies in the world, ranking first on People's list of 50 companies that care, third on the world's most innovative companies in 2018, according to Forbes, and sixth out of Fortune's 100 best companies to work for, an honor it will receive now for the 12th time in a row. Now, let's stop right there. What did you think? Notice how this presentation's colors, theme, and layout, which is all centered around the Salesforce logo, play a key role in facilitating presentational flow and engaging the audience. It delivered a comprehensive yet concise summary of the company, emphasizing the most important information. Its organization was logical, and the transitions between its sections were smooth. In fact, they were so smooth that I'm sure you wouldn't have known how many slides there were had I not given you that information at the beginning. Overall, this presentation was informative, visually attractive, and for what it's worth, interesting enough for the audience. While this level of presentational design is a bit advanced, and you are no way expected to meet it, I would challenge you and your team to think of ways that you can enhance your presentation through some of the visual elements we've discussed here. In addition, I would also suggest that you review the basics of constructing and delivering a great presentation from start to finish, so you avoid some of the common mistakes that typically hurt a project team's performance at the end of each semester. Remember to make intentional design decisions, even if it's just to make something look more appealing. After all, no matter what company you work for in the future, chances are that their expectations for the quality and appearance of your work are also going to be very high. So it's important to note that the work that you do at CYC does matter for later in your career. With that being said, please feel free to get creative and have fun with this project. For guidance, inspiration, or help with this crucial last step, please feel free to ask your VP of Engagements for more materials or information, or consult our chapter's resources, or of course, the internet. I also want to note that you do not have to use our chapter's colors in your final deliverable. In fact, you might want to think about ways you can customize your presentation to appeal most to your client, but still make sure you are integrating the CYC logo into this presentation. For example, take this cover slide that was designed for one of our project team's final deliverables for their client, Access Replay. You can find our logos and other branding guidelines in the branding kit, which should be in your Google folders. So now that you are equipped with the knowledge, tools, and resources you need to create an excellent professional grade deliverable, it's now time for you to get intentional, get creative, and have fun with this design process. Good luck, project leaders.